Hey everybody, this is Al from PC Tech Review 101 coming back to you with another video. Today's video is going to show you one of my favorite budget builds. This build is going to cost around $150 and we're going to use a Dell Optiplex 7010. It's one of my favorite platforms to use for a budget build. Now sure, you're looking at this video and you've seen plenty of these out there. Just add a power supply, upgrade the RAM, SSD drive, put a better graphics card, but in my opinion it's still an ugly looking computer. What some of you may not know is that this computer is fully compatible with any gaming case, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just change this whole look, everything from the ground up, and integrate it into a gaming case and make it look like this. So let me go over a little bit more about this computer. I was able to pick up this computer at a local office closing down for 50 bucks. This specific model consists of an i5-3450, which is a 3.1 gigahertz processor. Along with that, it came with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 250 gigabyte hard drive, and of course a DVD drive, which all of this is going to be fully converted into a nice gaming case of any of your choice. I'm just gonna pick up a budget decent looking case. My budget is only $150, and pretty much this motherboard is very good. It's a 3rd generation motherboard, so this motherboard is compatible with any of the 3rd generation processors. It could be i3, i5, i7. You could upgrade this to a 3770 or 3770K or whatever might be an option for you down the road. And everything, like I said, is usable. You just need to, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to take out the motherboard. I'm going to show you what are some of the things to keep and to transfer to other case, which are some of the sensors. It's very important because some of the sensors have to be plugged in, otherwise you're going to get an error when you boot up into Windows every time. So I figured out how to do that. It's very simple. Just follow the easy steps and you'll have a fully fledged gaming computer with a lot of possibilities. Okay, so this is pretty much what it looks like. I just took out all the good stuff out of this computer, all the things we're going to need to make it a successful transformation into a gaming PC. So these are all things that we're going to use for another case. Now I always like to use the DVD drive, because most of my builds consist of a DVD drive, but you don't have to keep that. It's up to you. It depends whatever case you want to use. Also, here is the I/O shield. Very important. It looks pretty nice. Definitely keeping that. And one very important thing, your exhaust fan here, you are going to have to keep it, you just clean it up, unless it's already clean. This is a 92 millimeter one. That one you're going to have to keep because it does have a proprietary connection into the motherboard, the system fan. So you keep that. Also, you keep the cooler, you clean it up, maybe put a little sticker here. Well, you're going to see the final result when I put it, when I put everything together. But these are just some key points. So we do have to stick with this cooler. And anyways, with the processor that you're going to put here, you're not going to overclock, so it's not going to make any difference. And it is a better looking than a regular Intel stock fans that usually come with a processor when you buy. So it's not bad. Let's move over to the right here. This is the very important stuff here. Let me just move the camera. I'm going to zoom in and show you some of the very important things here, like that we have to keep when it comes to the sensor stuff. Let me see. Okay, that's better. Okay, this is one of the main sensors here. This is for the front panel. We're not gonna use that because it's how you're gonna fit that on the case. But if you unplug this thing from here, as you could see, it will give you an error on startup. And in some cases, I think, I don't know if this is this sensor or another sensor, the fans will kick in full speed, and it's not going to be a good experience. And you know, I'm sure some of you guys tried these things in the past and didn't work out, but I figured it out. So one thing you're going to do is you're going to just, I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire over here, because we're not going to use any of that. But we do need it to be plugged in. That way it's like a dummy plug-in. That way it doesn't give off sensor. And I cut it a little longer. You could cut it shorter, and I usually just put some electric tape and I just hide it underneath the motherboard or somewhere like that. I just cut it a little longer just in case. Better cut it longer in the first day. You could snip it later. So this is like, you could consider this as a sensor. Let me show you right there. Again, you see that? You just snip that right off. Keep it on. I didn't want to try cutting all the way down here where that way it will spread around. But up to here I think it's fine, and then you just put electrical tape. Next is, this is another sensor here. Well, one thing I want to show you is the speaker. If you want to keep the speaker, you know, that's up to you. If you want to keep the speaker, that does not have to be plugged in. It will not give any errors on the boot up. So that's up to you. So I'm not gonna use it. I'll just unplug it. But I just want to show you that's about the only option you have here. I'm not gonna use that. But this specific sensor, which is a thermal sensor, that you need to be plugged in. And again, when we build this up, I'll show you. I'm gonna just hide this wire somewhere, or just kind of like face it towards the front somewhere. That way we don't get an error or anything like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this side. Now also, what's great about this motherboard is it does have the front USB 3.0 option. So with any of the modern cases that has a front 3.0 wire, like the one this one had, you just plug it right in and it's gonna work. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. Of course, I forgot to mention that very important, why this one reason that this motherboard is compatible. It does have the 24-pin connection here for a standard power supply, and a 4-pin right here. So let me just show you, and a 4-pin right there. So, but you guys already know this because everybody likes to build off of these. And you just swap the power supply, and then you get the better graphics card. Yeah, so one last thing, and this is another important thing. This is for the power button. After messing around with it for a while, I finally figured it out, how to bypass that message, that error message. And I also figured out which pins are for the power button on your new case. Let me try to zoom in here a little bit better. Okay, you see those orange pins? Let me see. Can I lower this a little? Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be a little lower. That's it. Right there. Let me get a little focus on that. That's it. So, let me just show you that originally, that little plastic piece. You had a little plastic piece here, and that's your front panel to turn the computer on. Now, the first 2 pins on the left here, top and bottom, so we're going vertical, you would have to connect the power connection from your new case, and that will allow you to turn the computer on and off. You're not going to be able to do the reset or power LED or HD LED, which is, you know, it's not really important. The most important thing is just to have the power button to work. So, but once you have that connected and the other ones are empty, you're going to get another error message. And that's when these little jumpers come in handy. You can get them for like pennies. Usually get a box for like nothing. You could order them in for like pennies. And these two are going to go vertical in the middle. One right there. And then right next to it. When you go on this side, there's going to be only one pin exposed, but you just put it right next to each other and it'll look like that. So you're covering the two sides. By doing so, it'll bypass the error message. And on this left side, the last two pins, that's where you're going to plug in your power connection. And again, once the build is done, I'm going to show you how it all looks and everything is functional. Now this motherboard is great. I think it's upgradable up to 16 gigs of RAM. It's got four SATA connections, and it does have 2 slots for graphics cards. But forget about this one. This is garbage. When if you plug in this is a second card or anything, it only runs at X4. So just forget about this. You could use that for something else, maybe a Wi-Fi card or whatever whatever you want to do with that, or a sound card or something like that here. But this, indeed, is a good one. And you put your graphics card there. Now I'm gonna pair this up with an RX 460, I believe. We'll see what happens, and probably 500 watt power supply. Nothing crazy, in a nice little case, and see how it looks. So stay tuned for the final product. Okay, and here's the final product. We have the Dell 7010 mid-tower, fully integrated into an aftermarket case. Now, I didn't spend too much money on the case. This is a very budget one from Logic's. It's a CS380RD Red Edition. Costing me about $22 shipped from Newegg. And the power supply is also pretty cheap, about 15 bucks used. Diablo Tech 500 watt non-rated. Just want to show you, a budget build. If you're gonna convert like I did, you could invest more money into a power supply. You can get something good for 25-30 bucks, but it's really up to you. Now I was able to really take just about every little thing off that computer and fully incorporate it into this aftermarket case. I was very happy with that result. We used the DVD drive. We used the 8 gigabytes of RAM sticks here. Two 4s, could be upgraded to more, of course, but I just wanted to. So basically, for 50 bucks, we have everything here besides the case, power supply, and a graphics card. And there's a lot of videos on this Dell and older models. When you see the video, you recognize that gray look, the really ugly looking Dell that could be easily upgraded. But you may think that's the limit of it as far as aesthetics, but you could really put it in any case you want. And in this case, this motherboard is very good, as it's the first PCI Express lane does support 3.0 x16 with NVIDIA cards. So when you do go to NVIDIA control panel, you will see that it's running at 3.0 x16 to get the most out of the graphics card. We are once again using an i5 3450 3.1 gigahertz processor. This could be upgraded to an i7 3770. I wouldn't even spend the extra money on the K because you can't overclock it, so you could get a really good deal on a 3770 or even a 3770S, or your Dell already comes with it, so you don't even have to do that, you know what I mean? But you could get these things now used for 50 bucks or less or more, depends on everything. But I even used the old hard drive, which was a 250 gigabyte hard drive. I mean, we're only going to test stuff. We want to get the budget as low as possible, and it turns out for our old hard drive, it was still in pretty good condition and with no issues. So let me just go over a couple little things, very important factors here that you do have to be aware of when you're doing a conversion. So let's just take a look first at this bottom part here. And I did show you this in the beginning with the motherboard. This is a very important stuff here. Let me just zoom in a little. That what you have to do and use from the other case, from the original Dell case. Here it is. Let me zoom in. Alright, so you were able to use in the front panel the USB 2.0, which is the little connection on the left here, and then on right above the SATA wires you have the blue connection for the front USB 3.0 connection, which is excellent for this old motherboard. It has front 3.0 USB support. That's excellent. And there's the sensor right there, that little white connection with a black wire coming down right underneath the SATA ports. That's your thermal sensor for the case. That has to be incorporated into the new case, otherwise you'll be in error. And then also that big white multicolor wire there too, which is not functional in this case at all, but it's there as a jumper, so you don't get an error upon starting up the computer, and also the fans will kick in at full speed. So these are very important things. What I did was I just kind of trimmed the wire a little bit, wrapped it up with electrical wire just to hide it underneath, and it's really not functional. Only what it does is just prevents the sensors going crazy. And that was the original issues when I first was trying to do this. Even years back, I just kind of gave up on it. I didn't even think about it, but then I'm like, let me get another extra crack at it. And you know how as you go on and a couple of years later you start thinking a little bit better, and you realize like, wow, you know, like this could have been done, but I just kind of gave up on it. So also you are going to be using the stock cooler heatsink, because it does have the proprietary connections. Let me show you that to the motherboard, which is like a slim, thin, wide, I think 4 or 5 pin. So you have to use that cooler, but it's not a bad cooler at all. It's actually better than some of the stock coolers that came with the Intel processors. So you're not gonna have issues with overheating. You're just gonna clean it up, put new thermal paste, and that's it. And you're not going to overclock this machine because it doesn't have the capability. And in most cases, you know, if you're not willing to spend a lot of money, like $1,000, you don't really need to overclock anyways. I mean, if you get good hardware, you're going to get good performance. Overclocking stuff does, you know, the gain is not that much, so it's not worth it. And then also the system fan on the left has also proprietary connections, so you're going to incorporate that too into the case. It's a 92mm fan. It's really fast, so it's good. It's not the best looking, but you're gonna have to move that over to your new case also. And then one last thing. Again, I showed you this on the motherboard earlier when I had it out of the case, but this is the last important thing. Let me just try to get closer here. Don't mind me with the shaky camera. I just trying to get better view. Okay, there it is. You see that orange and white wire? So off the new case that you're gonna use, you're gonna be using one wire, which is the power button wire, and you cannot use anything else on this motherboard. I mean, that's all you really need is on and off. That's the most important thing. So you're not gonna be able to use the power LED, HD LED, or a reset button. And then next to that you see the two jumpers going vertical. So all the wires are going to go vertical, and the first 2 pins going vertical for the power, and then the other 2 jumpers are going to go vertical too. That's so again you don't get an error upon startup. Yeah, and that's pretty much all the things you have to do. And this machine performs pretty well, surprisingly. Or maybe not. Of course, I already knew it was going to perform well. So again, this is a little bit different. I know you've seen many videos out there just using that ugly looking Dell case. This has been done many years ago. It's nothing new, but you could move it into a nice case and just, you know, make it look better. And, you know, that's pretty much it on that. So stay tuned. Now we're gonna go ahead and run a couple of games and see how well it does in some of the games in 1080p, some of the old titles, and I'm going to choose a couple of newer ones. I mean, the results are going to be pretty much, you know, simple. It's what you expect to get for an i5 paired with a GTX 1050 super clock. And you know, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for watching. Yeah, I just wanted to show you here that about the motherboard. Like I said, it does support, as you could see, PCI Express X16 Gen 3. So, you know, it's a very good motherboard for gaming. And you know, a lot of people they get upset. They're like, oh, this thing is old, let me get rid of it, let me sell it, it looks ugly. But when I see something like that and they usually give it away for like almost nothing, I see a lot of potential. Like I said, this thing could be, as you could see, fully integrated into a nice gaming case. And you know what, if you look around, a lot of builds out there that has the RGB look and everything, and most builds, people don't even buy a Z motherboard to overclock. They buy like an H. So in this case, this is an H board, and it's no worse than aftermarket Asus or ASRock or whatever motherboard that's going to be an H that you can't overclock. It may have a couple extra features, more convenience, but overall you're going to get the same performance. And to have a full you know, full setup for just such a low price, I think it's a really good deal. Now there's other computers to look at, like HP's, Lenovo, and a Dell, of course. They usually integrate into an aftermarket case pretty good. You just got to do a little research, play around with some stuff, and you should be able to get it going. One other thing is, I forgot to mention that the front panel of an aftermarket case, you will not be able to use the headphone jack or the mic jack unless you get a sound card, which you could pick up an old one for like 10 or 15 bucks. That way you could connect the front audio, HD audio wire into the sound card. I had one. In this case, I did not want to use it because I wanted to just have a little bit of a cleaner look, because it was kind of big and it covered the graphics card and didn't give a lot of ventilation. But if you get like a little mini short one or something, that would work too. And I did try the sound card and the sound was great. So in this case, you'll be just plugging everything to the back, and it works fine. You know, the headphones or the speakers works just fine. You just have to connect it to the back, and that's it. Okay, and the first game we're going to test out is Battlefield 5. We're going to start off on the lowest settings on 1080p and work our way up. And we are using DirectX 11, as it still is the best for this game in my opinion. Even with the better graphics card and hardware, it just runs a lot better. So that's what I recommend. I mean, with the DX12, when you start this game, it already starts like stuttering and frame loss. It's pretty crazy. And those of you who are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. You won't see too much of new hardware on my channels, but my mission is to save everybody money, to let people know that you don't need to spend $1,000 on a gaming computer. I want everybody to have a gaming computer or a budget build. You could even game with your home computer with the right parts, with some upgrades, and just to show everybody that you don't have to be wealthy to game. And it doesn't really matter if you have like this nice RGB LED case. I mean, that really does nothing for performance. And if you really want to play in 1080p on PC, technically it should cost you less than a brand new PS4 or Xbox S. And if you want to get into 4K gaming with the right budget parts, it'll be also less than a PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox X. And maybe further down the line I'll do a budget 4K build, for around $300 or less. you know, who knows, maybe I'll get lucky with some parts and get some ideas out there. Well, you could see it's running pretty good on low. I think the max playable setting here will be like high. You could go on ultra, but it'll stutter too much. It's not worth it. Let's go and move into medium settings here. I'll go ahead and turn this on a little bit here. Oh yes, I love that with the bodies flying. I mean, the 1050 is really a good card. I mean, it really kicks butt. Yeah, in this case, it cost me 60 bucks used. I was able to pick it up at the local Craigslist. You should be able to get something like that at your local Craigslist or so. That's really an honest price for that, I think, at this point. Alright, we'll just finish it off with the high settings to get a feel of what kind of frame rates we get. And that's about it for this game. Yeah, we'll leave that on low. You could probably go a little bit higher. Whoa. Oh yeah, that was a loading. And that's why it stuttered like that. And we're on high settings too. Okay, getting, you know, looks good on high settings. You know, we're around 30 FPS during explosions and a lot of action. That's what I want to show you. Look at that. Okay, and that concludes our test for Battlefield 5. And here is Resident Evil 2 Remake. We are on 1080p, absolutely lowest settings, interlaced. Ah.
I'll get you out.
As you can see, the system really does well on Resident Evil. Yeah, but we're gonna turn up the settings. You won't, you won't see these high frame rates as much. Oh yeah, you gotta get a little closer. Come on. Nah, I could shoot you in the leg. Okay. Come on. That's it. Okay, let's see what we could do here. Yeah, we're gonna go into red. It is what it is. But it's not a bad thing. Let's see how we do here. Yeah, we want to be at 60, so that looks good. Looks pretty good to me.
Jesus, they're everywhere.
Got to grab it to life. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it on the high settings. You want to be around, you know, 60, 70 FPS. This is going to be your setting. And that's using interlaced, but you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put on normal. The graphics, the FPS will drop. That's it. Yeah, everything is a lot smoother now. So yeah, you're on like high settings, not bad at all. Around 50 to 60 FPS. In open areas like the main police station, the main hallway right there, you're always gonna get less FPS. But when you're in the smaller rooms, you're gonna get the higher FPS. I could even play a little bit more here. Let's go on low on that. That should give us a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just take the arms off. Oh, that should just fall by itself. There you go. Yep. Ah, come on. Just not doing it right. Okay. That's it. Alright, and that's the conclusion, everybody. Resident Evil 2. And now we're testing the good old Battlefield 1, an older title, but it's still a good game to test it on. Yeah, we're starting at 1080p low settings. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot better performance with the system on older games, of course. We're in the lowest settings. We're gonna do low, and then we're just gonna max it out on ultra. So basically, if you want to just, you know, get close to 100 FPS, keep it on low. Go ahead and max this out. Right. That's it. Just want to see if it's playable. I think it is. Just don't want it to stutter. Not gonna get high frame rates, of course, but it's a really good card. Look at that super clock. Look at the core clock is we're at 1823 megahertz. It's pretty damn good. You know, that's why AMD NVIDIA does very good with these cards. Their core clocks are incredible, while AMD keeps making newer stuff that performs a lot like the older stuff, and their core clock is not, you know, nowhere near where a lower end graphics card could do. But yeah, we're fully maxed out, no stuttering. You know, I mean, you could be fully maxed out and have 30, 40 frame rates, but the game stutters, you know, it's like in slow motion. But in this case, it performs really good. And the detail is very good on this game. What else do you want? This price, yep. Okay, well, there you have it. As you could see, the system could max out Battlefield 1 on ultra settings. One of our better results in games. That's about it. And here we have the almighty classic GTA 5. We're just gonna focus on one setting because we do have to restart the game every time when we do a drastic change. So we're on 1080p, right at the 2 gig threshold, which we could go way above, not a problem, but we're gonna just focus on the setting here, which is a high setting. We could probably turn a couple of things on. I will change something here, as long as it doesn't want me to restart the game. So let's begin here. As you can see, the GTX 1050 is a very capable card. Even with this old hardware, this computer again is from 2011. How's that possible? Again, those who are new to my channel, you know, please don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos and find out that there's a lot of older hardware that could still play all the modern games nowadays. So, you know, don't be fooled into spending so much money in new hardware. There's really no reason for it. It looks good on high settings. I'm going to go ahead and see what else I could add on to this and then wrap this up. Okay, I know I could increase that. Yep, that's okay. We could do softest. Okay, that's good. And these are all pretty much. Or should we even go for the NVIDIA? That's even better. Oh wow, that dropped a lot. Let's see. Well, we'll leave it on that. Can I go more? Okay. Let's see how that runs. Oh yeah, that's a lot. That looks a lot better. A little better. Hurry up. You know what? There seems like there's a little bit more room on high settings to go up a notch. Let's see if this is possible. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's see. No, no, no. That's not going to be too much. Let's see if the 4... Aha, on the 4 this unlocks. Let's see if I could even play it like this. Just want to be able to play it. Oh yeah, perfect. This is it. No stuttering. The game looks a lot better with all those options turned on high settings. Again, let's just review all the final settings so you could just see pretty much what it's capable of. We got this on X4. If this is X8, then the NVIDIA TX8 AA one appears option. So we're here. That's pretty much maxed out here. Oh, we could do this too. Yeah, we'll do that. So we're on high. I'm gonna leave this at X4. I think if we go higher with the other settings, it's gonna start stuttering. So we'll just leave it like this. All right. Yep. Looks really good. Probably the best settings you're gonna get for the playable frame rates. And that's it, everybody. That concludes the testing of this ultra budget gaming PC that you yourself could easily convert your old dusty Dell Optiplex and make it look even better. It really all depends how much money you want to spend. But for that's such small price of $50 to have an i5 platform, it's really incredible. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.